Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So we've got lots of exciting stuff to talk about today, and we're going to start off with the King, who has just celebrated his 76th birthday. The King has had quite a demanding year as he has been battling an unspecified form of cancer, of which he's still clearly receiving treatment for after it was revealed that they had briefly paused his treatment so that he was well enough to fly to Australia and Samoa recently. It's been reported that the bond between King Charles and the Princess of Wales has deepened even further as they both have been fighting the disease and have supported each other throughout. But the King's estrangement from his second son has also sadly deepened. I know the public find it easy to dismiss Harry after all that he's said and done, but it's not that simple when you're family, and as a father, I'm sure that this must weigh down on him a lot. Queen Camilla has always been the love of King Charles's life, and she has become his rock. She's done immense amounts of engagements despite a few of her own health issues to give the King some peace of mind. His Majesty is known to fight putting his feet up, and the Queen has often joked about his stubbornness, even when he's under doctor advisement. She is also supporting and protecting her husband from any unnecessary stress, including the blackmail threats from Harry, who seems to think that his father holds the keys to ending Harry's security woes. Aside from the threats and the dramas that these two have continued to cause, the royal family's popularity has increased, including the King's. His Majesty in recent months is definitely beginning to look a lot healthier, and he has a spring in his step. On his birthday, the King was working and was serenaded Happy Birthday by Rye Oak Primary in Peckham, which put a big smile on his face. The King was there to open 2 new food hubs as part of his Coronation Food Project. The initiative launched on his birthday last year and aims to tackle food waste and alleviate the cost of living crisis. It has already raised 15 million and saved 940 tons of food, which is the equivalent to over 2 million meals. The King might have been working on his birthday, but he had some fun the day before when he put on his tuxedo and he arrived looking very dapper at a film premiere in London. The King was there to see Gladiator 2, which is the sequel to the big Ridley Scott blockbuster film that was absolutely huge. My husband was desperate to see this. I was in charge of booking the tickets. Left it a little bit too late, so we can't actually go see it this weekend because the Everyman Cinema in Horsham has sold out unless we had a single seat there and a single seat there. I'm sure that he would have been fine with that, but I wasn't. So as for the film premiere, the King met with Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal and Connie Nelson. The film is again directed by Sir Ridley Scott, and it's being reported as the best film of the year. His Majesty looked in high spirits as he met with the rest of the cast, telling Denzel that he has been in so many fantastic films. Well, that is very high praise indeed. The King is a bit of a Denzel Washington fan. In a cute moment that came from the visit, the King went into grandpa mode as he met with Caitlin Coleman, who is 7 years old, and Sophie Alger, who was just 4 years old, who handed him flowers and a brochure. And he asked one of the children where their mummy was, and she responded that she's working. I can only presume that her mother actually works at the theatre. And he turned around and said that they weren't allowed to watch the movie. And obviously, Gladiator, I haven't seen the second one, but if it's anything like the first, it's going to be rather gory, but it was just a very sweet interaction with him chatting to the children. Now, earlier in the day, the King had hosted a rather spectacular star-studded event, as the newspapers like to call these affairs, at Buckingham Palace, and he was accompanied by his wife, Queen Camilla, who was feeling well enough to actually attend the reception. The event was held in celebration of 100 years of the film and TV charity, of which the King is patron of, a role that he took over from his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who had held it since 1952. There were lots of famous TV and film stars in attendance, such as Ben Kingsley, Damian Lewis, Joseph Fiennes, and Dames Penelope Keith and Eileen Atkins. Queen Camilla was definitely in good spirits as she chatted to actress Emily Mortimer, of which she's friends with her mother, and it was quite a funny moment captured on camera between the two women.
Emily Mortimer, ma'am.
Hi, my mum, Penny sends so much love. How is she? She's great.
She's chain smoking as ever.
Oh, she's still on fags.
Have you quit the fags?
No, yes, I quit 20 years ago.
No, she's still madly on the fags, but less red wine.
Yes.
Still some.
She's just
But anyway, she sent you so much love. I will. I really will.
It's just a casual conversation, isn't it, that you could overhear absolutely anywhere. But this is the King's wife, Queen Camilla, and the way she's just so casual chatting about, oh yeah, she's still on the fags, is she? Like she's having a gossip while she's getting her hair done. I love it. It just shows that despite a lot of the pomp and the ceremony that we see, they are just normal people at the end of the day. Also in attendance was Ridley Scott, the director of Gladiator 2, which the King later went to the premiere by himself, and she did apologise in advance, saying she was very sorry, but she was still getting better from her chest infection and she would probably cough all the way through the film. Any of you that have ever gone to the cinema, I've done it myself, when you think that you're okay and then it starts, it's the dry air, isn't it, or it's the popcorn, you're and people start getting annoyed around you and you're just like, oh, bad idea. Now, moving away from TV and films, let's talk books. Queen Camilla is very heavily into pushing people into reading more and more. I mean, if you're going to push anything on anyone, it's the perfect thing. As you can tell, I'm a big reader myself, so is my husband. I've actually beat my record this year. I'm on my 29th book. Reading is such a huge passion of hers, and she's created the Queen's Reading Room, which was launched in 2021. It's become very successful and is now a charity that provides accessible educational and fun free literature through their website, through their social media channels, and it is also now a popular podcast. And Her Majesty has hosted several Reading Room festivals. She has had incredible guests such as Dame Judi Dench, Dame Joanna Lumley, Richard E. Grant, Helena Bonham Carter, just to name a few who have taken part. I am definitely going to go for a ticket next year. When the tickets go live, I'm going to go for it because I'd really like to attend that myself. Now, with Camilla, that did spend a couple of weeks recovering after coming back from Australia and Samoa and catching this very nasty chest infection, her first solo engagement was hosting the Booker Prize reception at Clarence House. Camilla hosted the 6 finalists of the prestigious Literary Award, as she did years previously. The Queen was just beginning to feel a little bit better, and when asked, she did say to people that she's gradually on the mend. With so many great selections of books, one winner was later announced, and she was the first female author to win the Booker Prize since 2019. Needless to say, however, I've never seen the bench or spare being put forward. Now, speaking of spare, Harry's second release of his memoirs hasn't been very successful. After the initial burst of interest, when it was of course originally released, Harry's book of nasty stories quickly became the most dumped book of the summer. Left on beaches, hotels, lobbies, left in bins, even libraries and news bookstores were turning copies away. Many big bookstores got to the point they couldn't give them away and regretted ordering so many. The latest release in paperback had no accompanying book tour of Harry telling his tales of woe and the suffering that he had to endure in his childhood. And also, as reported, no additional chapters were added, which is very, very unusual. Due to this, there has been no great big burst of any more interest in Harry's Burn book, and he is trailing at 73rd place in the UK charts list, with only 3,400 copies sold in the second week of this secondary release. And I can imagine that 3,999 of those copies sold were actually bought by a keen buyer sitting in Montecito. Now, speaking of books and awards, the Princess of Wales' rather handsome brother, James Middleton, has recently won Pet Food of the Year, called Kibble and Raw, and is sold under the name of James and Ella. Looking rather dapper, he collected his award on stage, accompanied by his dog Isla. Now, James has written a book which is now on the Sunday Times bestsellers list. It's on my Christmas wish list, actually, and I can't wait to read it. And it is based on his life story about his mental health struggles, which he's always been very open with. But more importantly, it's about Ella. Ella is the dog that he met one day and she changed his world. And I know it's going to be a beautiful tearjerker just by even reading the synopsis on the back of this book. But there's photographs in there, there's lots of stories of James Middleton and stories about Catherine and growing up. There were a couple of stories, well, excerpts that came to light recently after we had Mike Tyndall making swipes quite clearly about Meghan, where he said, actually, it's really easy to get along with the royal family. If you're nice to them, they're nice to you. Obviously, that was definitely an underhanded dig. But James Middleton also spoke about in his book when his wife, now wife and the mother of his child, Elise, met Catherine and William. She was really casual. She was dressed in jeans. It was a warm embrace. They hugged. They got along brilliantly. And you can't help but think that goes back to Meghan's story of the cold, nasty Cambridgers that when they met Meghan, they looked down their nose at her because she was wearing jeans and she was barefoot and she tried to hug them. It was part of her nasty narrative, but I can't help but feel those two books with two members of the same family, they've definitely, I think it's a way of subtly defending the royals and, of course, in both instances as well, Catherine and William, because they are a loving family. They're a very close family. The Middletons are a very close family and they absolutely adore William. And to see the constant attacks that have happened, I'm glad in some ways that they have both done that with their books. Oh, and that's also going on the Christmas list. I think that I will also be asking for a copy of The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, because the podcast is honestly, it's really funny if you haven't listened to it. So there you go. You've got some book recommendations. I'm giving you some podcast recommendations. The Queen's Reading Room is also a great podcast. In fact, I'll recommend anybody's podcast apart from that one. It's moments of my life that I know I will never get back. Now, seeing as I've mentioned the word Christmas, which is quickly coming, we have now had the official announcement that the Royal Christmas is coming our way soon. Yes, everybody, get your mulled wine, your mince pies and your Christmas jumpers out of the loft. A royal Christmas together again with the Princess of Wales will be hitting our screens on Christmas Eve, but I believe it is being filmed on December the 6th. So I will cover what I can then until obviously the wonderful show airs. It's definitely becoming a wonderful Christmas tradition. Now, of course, not to be beaten with the announcement that the Princess of Wales will be back for the Together again at Christmas, Meghan has also done her very own Christmas announcement. Well, not Meghan directly, but a source close to Meghan, who has shared that Meghan is meticulously curating gift packages filled with all of her favourite things, including, of course, her jam, and she will be sending these out to the who's who of Hollywood. Lemons at the ready. Let's see how many people will even admit that they've got one of these baskets. Will it be like 1 to 50 and only a handful come forward? I can imagine so, because obviously people can see this is about Meghan using other people to promote American Riviera Orchard. But the source did go on to say that this is, of course, about that a little bit, but it's more about spreading goodwill. And Meghan is desperate to start off 2025 not being surrounded by negativity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to negativity. So, to finish up my final story, and as promised we were going to talk about jam, well, if any of you guys are stuck what to buy your nearest and dearest for Christmas, fear not, because Meghan and her jam are coming to a shopping centre near you. Well, near some of you, anyway. Yes, the discount Duchess will be seeing her products, of which no one has a clue of what they actually are, to be sold in 2 shopping centres, one in Philadelphia and the other in Dallas, Texas. Fire up your private jets, people. You wouldn't want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yes, apparently Netflix is opening 2 Netflix houses, which will sell merchandise from their most popular shows, and there will also be interactive experiences based on the shows as well, such as a murder mystery dinner based on Knives Out. You'll be able to have ice cream from Scoops Ahoy, from Stranger Things, and even a spot of tea at the Bridgerton Cafe. There is absolutely no end of possibilities. One can only presume that Netflix have decided to do maybe an interactive experience, but with a horror twist to it, because they could have an escape room with Meghan's Horror cookery show playing on repeat. People are dumped in a room and Meghan's telling them how to bake a lemon cheesecake or banana bread or whatever else, a roast chicken, and they have to escape the room whilst listening to her. Anybody that doesn't pull out their eyes and rip off their ears wins a signed t-shirt from the Duchess herself. Honestly, I don't know how anyone can take them seriously. Sure, they crop up pretending that they're royals. Timu Royals is a nickname that they've got. They'll crop up every so often pretending that they're global leaders. They've got some sort of worldwide influence, and they haven't. The only thing that these two can influence without a doubt is people either eye rolling or laughing. Never before has there been such a famous or infamous couple that have been given so much and they have just thrown it all away. To go from so high to so low at the speed of which they did, it's honestly astonishing, Harry especially. Okay, they might be even richer from all of the deals that they have done since leaving, but at what cost? And neither of them seem particularly happy. Already the annual predictable stories are doing the rounds about how 2025 will be their best year yet. But if it's anything like 2021, 22, 23 and 2024, I wouldn't be counting on that. But that's moved on to the next video because I'm actually finally going to get round to talking about the Earthshot Prize winners. And it's very, very important with the theme of the video that I'm doing because one brother is handing out awards and Harry is still collecting them for himself. So guys, tune back in over the weekend. I will be back with video number 3 and I will see you soon. Take care for now. Bye.